While you were coming in.
Lads, you're giving me an hour to do the carpets at this point,
Sorry.
right? So we need to speed up,
Over in Cabra, it is Stephen who takes charge of the pricing strategy for Platinum.
Lads, about the rent. 300 for this, 300 for the back room and 400 for the twin with the shower. So that's €1,000 a month.
Grand.
It's a good price, eh? Brendan.
1,000 a month. It's the best we can realistically hope for. If we get that, we'd be doing cartwheels.
All hands on deck for both teams in a final push to the finishing line.
A half hour, move along, come on!
The floors were absolutely destroyed. The doors upstairs look like they've been painted with Tipex. This looks like an absolute bomb site.
Okay guys, we got 20 minutes left! 2 local primary schools, okay? 2 secondary schools as well.
That was a whirlwind performance.
They've all worked really hard physically, but they didn't work their heads.
6 p.m. Time up. Both teams now need to show their finished houses to Brian from B&Q, potential renters, and also, unbeknownst to the candidates, 3 local estate agents who are going to decide how much they have increased their rent by. First up is Cullen's house in Drumcondra.
Hello, how are you? I'm Sam, pleased to meet you.
Luke, how are you?
Hi Luke, how are you? Okay, and this is Geraldine.
You can see the lounge is lovely and spacious anyways, plenty of room. Now if you want to come through here to the kitchen.
We gave them €2,500 and overall they've done a pretty good job there.
It's definitely different, yeah.
I think they should have looked at the bedrooms in more detail. They could have put in sliding doors and fitted wardrobes. We provided fitters for them. So disappointed with the curtains that were used to cover up the wardrobe.
This is the kitchen. Again, this has been newly done up as well. Just got a lick of paint there a couple of days ago. So it's for the 2 of you just?
Yes.
Yeah.
The carpet didn't look new. They kept pointing out that it was new. The fittings were really bad.
It is negotiable, but I mean, the price that we put on this place is very cleanly, it's very competitive in relation to the houses and the other houses in the market, you know.
I think they've done the best with the time that they had. It still needs quite a lot of work.
Welcome, how's it going? Right, well, I'll give you a quick tour. And obviously this is a nice living space.
They did have some nice little touches, like the little throws on the couches and the candles.
Lots of potential.
Yeah. That's it. Someone was making hay.
That's it.
Together, separate?
The only negative would be the ill-fitting carpet. That would be the only criticism I could throw at it.
So you're interested in living around Drumcondra?
They've clearly done a lot, albeit, painted everything in sight. I think they probably put a significant portion of their budget into paint because there was a lot of paint on the cupboards. In fact, the girl who showed me around had paint on her hands, on her face and her hair.
The rent is $10.50 per month.
$10.50?
Yeah.
Okay.
First to view the Cabra property is Brian and his colleagues from B&Q.
Any particular reason you didn't paint the back?
It actually came down to time, and what we thought was priorities was actually if you go back inside and see that space that we created with the light.
It would have been great if they'd have finished the exterior. I think painting the front and half the side, you kind of lose the effect when you walk around the side and you see the top third of it still unpainted. Were the doors here?
The wire doors, and what we actually did was we excavated the whole lot of this, and it's actually created a much lighter or warmer space in here.
It's an improvement on the house that I seen on Friday, but I would just say an improvement. Paint is still wet, doors haven't been finished. I could have been a lot more focused on the detail and the finish of the house.
It's just been revamped.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a lot better done up than what it is. No, it just didn't do it for me.
Be careful of the door.
It's patchwork repair. They should have just concentrated on 1, 2, 3 as opposed to taking 10 different things at once.
The kitchen is done well. Apart from a dishwasher, it's fully equipped.
There's also 2 bedrooms upstairs and one has an ensuite upstairs. Actually was nice and a bit wet.
Is the heating at the gas?
As an agent, I've seen the house beforehand. I don't see a huge difference, to be perfectly honest, but the quality of the finish is very poor.
We're southwesterly facing.
Yeah.
Back gardens.
My first impressions are that it's hugely improved. I had seen this property previously, and I think they've done a lot with it.
With all the valuations in, both teams must wait until Bill's boardroom tomorrow to find out which team increased the rental value of their house the most.
was a good project manager. For the task that was in it, she's a little brash sometimes, but that's fine.
I'm the strongest in the team, without question. I'm looking at this strategically. At the end of the day, this is, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
In my honest opinion, if the other team win this task, I take my hat off to them because they must have pulled something amazing out of the bag.
You've got to go in there confidence. If you go in there with no confidence, well, there's no point going in, really.
You can go into the boardroom now.
There was no schedule, there was no planning, and it turned out a disaster because of that. If I was project manager, without a shadow of a doubt, Jennifer and Ruth would be back in that boardroom today, and I'd be shocked if Bill didn't fire both of them.
Just because they stand there shouting and screaming doesn't mean that they're working any harder than anyone else, like.
Cullen, Platinum, good afternoon. This week, your task was a business opportunity. You got 2 rundown properties with a rental value of €750 a month, and with a budget of £2,500 from B&Q, your task was to implement improvements that would maximise the revenue returned on the property. Jennifer, why did you put yourself forward as project manager?
I moved into a new house last year, so I kind of had an idea of like what we needed to focus on.
Did you find this different?
Yeah, it was a bit different, but still looked really good.
So, Stephen, what did you think of Jennifer as project manager?
I thought she was quite poor, to be honest, Bill. We had absolutely no project plan. We had no time planning, no budget plan. Only for the amount of work that was done by myself, Brendan and Aoiffe, there would have been absolutely no change on that house. It would have been the exact same as when we walked in on day one.
So there was no strategy. Aoiffe, what have you to say about that?
I just have to agree with all of that. It's just a shambles from the word go. No plan, no strategy, no budgetary management, no team management, and certainly no time management. Not only that, when the items that were sent back to the house arrived, they were wrong. A number of items that we'd all agreed as a team to get were not purchased, including the paint sprayer. It was just an absolute shambles, really.
Jennifer asked Stephen to pull the wardrobe out, which just needed to be touched up, and then the girls bought a flat-packed wardrobe assembled, which couldn't even fit up the stairs. I mean, there was no logical thinking to it at all. No use of the grey matter.
So you're not approving of Jennifer as the project manager?
I'm not.
Didn't you have some experience in DIY and that? Why didn't you step up to the plate as project manager?
The reason I didn't put myself forward was quite simple. The star performer, I feel, doesn't necessarily have to be project manager. I honestly, hand on my heart, Bill, I felt that I would be better utilised at the coalface, getting the job done, rolling my sleeves up and mucking in. If I was project manager, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have been looking at the other teams, and that was something that I didn't think was in the best interest of the team.
Well, it could be interpreted as something else, as letting her go off and do it while you would be sitting back and watching it. Ruth, what did you think of Jennifer?
I do think that there was a lack of respect for her role as project manager, particularly from the guys at home. She asked for a number of things to be done and she wasn't adhered to.
There was no instruction, as into what we were actually meant to be doing, why these guys were gone to B&Q.
Saying there was no strategy at all, no plan worked out.
There wasn't a plan set out, Jennifer. There absolutely wasn't a plan set out.
Did you not decide what you were going to do? Here is what we're going to do with this house. Well, I hope we did a bit better over here. Geraldine, why did you put yourself forward as project manager?
I was excited about getting stuck in as project manager for this task because I'm actually in the process of doing up my own house at the moment, so I've been spending a lot of time in B&Q, and I had to do it on a budget of £2,500 as well, so I felt like I'd be well capable of leading the team to success.
Steve, how did you find Geraldine?
Geraldine performed exactly how I thought she would. She was fantastic. She had high energy all the time. It was a task where you really needed to be motivated, and Geraldine's got the ability to stand on your boots without marking them.
Sam?
Yes.
How did you find Geraldine to work with?
I found Geraldine very good. At times we probably could have had a little bit more structure on things, just being pulled away from jobs maybe to deal with other more urgent things. But I understand that completely, that it's the nature of the job. Sometimes it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy and you need to focus on a priority.
Who made the decision to lift the bloody carpets?
That was me, Bill.
Do you think that was fantastic?
I'd stand by my decision to lift the carpets 100%.
Does everybody else?
Yeah, I think it was a great idea. I think first impressions, when